Okay, hello everyone. If you're here live or if you're watching the recording or streaming, I want to welcome each and every one of you today because we're on so many different platforms today. But my first and foremost is to do a little housekeeping. 1 second, I just have to open up these doors so everyone can come and go. There we go. Obviously come and stay. There we are. Perfect. The doors are open now. We're recording, we're going, we are streaming, and everything is ready to rock. So today is the first day of the rest of your life. How cliche can that be? How many times have we heard this? But whether you're here now in this space, or if you're here with me live, or if you're watching this in replay, I want you to pause and take that in. Because today can be that day that everything changes for you. Everything. I had that day. Some of you have already had that day, but we're all elevating, okay? So pause and take it in. So my name is Melanie Breslin, and I am so excited for the next hour to spend with you. Over these 3 days, this could absolutely transform your life. It's not because I'm saying so, okay? But because you have made the decision to be here. You've carved out the time. You've invested this time into yourself. And you've said, I'm ready for something more. And even being aware that you're ready for something more is such a powerful starting point. Now, I want you to know something right at the very, very, very start of this. If you've been in my energy before, or if this is your first time being in my energy, I want you to know that I don't teach from textbooks. I don't teach from theory. I don't teach from strategies and processes. Every single thing that I share with you over these next 3 days is grounded in over this last 10 years of studying myself, of applying the universal laws, of falling down more times than I want to remember, but getting back up again and actually living this work. So at school, we are taught to gather more information, okay? We are all taught to gather more information, read the textbooks, repeat the textbooks, and then get graded on them. And that is telling us how intelligent we are and what we're capable of in our life. That's not what I do here. You will hear me referencing names like Bob Proctor, Thomas Troward, Neville Goddard. These are all the greats and all my mentors. And they're the greats in personal development. But make no mistake about it. What I share with you is lived wisdom. It is, I am walking the walk. I have walked this path many a time. And that's why I know it works. So today, I want you to understand that I have embodied this amazing material. I will study this material to the day that I transition to the next phase of my life. Why? Because it saved my life. It changed my life. It turned my life upside down and inside out and back to front. And I'll tell you what, it wasn't just about sitting pretending everything was okay. It wasn't about just hoping and begging and pleading and praying that, oh, okay, I'm thinking positive, so everything must be positive in my life. That can be so toxic for each and every one of you, okay? So what we're going to be looking at over the next 3 days is understanding who you are. Who you are. And before we even go any further, right, I want you all to say something to yourself, whether it is out loud or even inside. I am powerful. I am powerful. At this present moment, even if you don't fully see it right now, even if your life in this moment doesn't reflect it, even if you're doubting it, even if you've questioned it, as soon as I said it, you went, what? You have probably been through a lot of setbacks, maybe a lot of heartbreak or struggles that made you feel powerlessness. But the truth is the power that lives within you is unlimited. I had to tap into that time and time and time again. I had to borrow other people's belief over and over and over again. But right now, in this very moment, What you're doing is you're already carrying within you the same power that has created galaxies, that has created oceans, mountains, stars. You carry the same power that has built empires, that has written the most beautiful melodies, healed bodies, and also transformed lives. And if it's humanly possible for one person, what makes you think it's not humanly possible for you? And this is where we get down into the nitty-gritty of it. We keep our imagination small. We don't want to be disappointed. We don't want to push too far. Stay small. Don't step out of that. Don't step out of your box. Stay in line. Everything that we've been programmed to do throughout our childhood, whether it's through school, whether it is through parents, for whatever way we have been programmed. But we all, each and every one of us here has been programmed. The moment that you become aware that you have been, it is now your duty to unprogram, to unlearn, to then remember the power that you have within you. And even though you may not see the full evidence of that power yet, it doesn't mean that it's not there. We will be believing without even seeing. Whereas previously, in our human potential or humanness, once they see it, then believe it. So it means that you're here today. You're here today to remember, to access it, tap into it, and then to unlock it. It's all there. But there's just a few layers on top of it. And what are those layers? So I spoke to someone yesterday, it's like peeling back an onion. All the different layers of beliefs, of habits, of other people's opinions. But that power is deeply inside you. You will feel it when you have a desire to go and do something. That feeling will rise to the surface, and then you push it back down again. And it will rise to the surface again, and you push it back down again. So I want you to really just pause and remember that you are powerful. Really powerful. Each and every one of you. It's not looking at someone else and seeing their capabilities and their power. This is pausing and looking at yourself. Really letting that land with you. So as I said, this is the first day of the rest of your life. And yes, it may be cliche, but whenever you let that sink in, it's one of the most liberating truths that you've ever heard. Because no matter what comes before, no matter what has happened, the struggles, the old stories, the missed opportunities, oh my goodness, we have all been having those missed opportunities. The heartbreak. You don't get to my age without having some heartbreak. The fear. Oh my goodness, fear. Fear has become my best friend. But before I allowed all the heartbreaks, the missed opportunities, the failures, the closing the businesses, the opening businesses, I allowed that to define who I believe myself to be. But your real starting point is not the day that you were born, okay? It's not the day that someone hurt you. It's not the day that you failed. Your real starting point is the day that you decide. But so many of us decided that this is just the way life is meant to be. Some of us has behaviors and some of us has beliefs. Some of us has this identity and we believe that this is just the way it is and we can't do anything about it. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can, most definitely. Today can be that day for you. The day that you decide that you're not going to be living that old story, living the old limitations, the day that you decide that enough is enough. This is the day that you decide to step into the fullness of who you really are. And some of this material that I will be teaching and talking about today, it may seem very strange, very uncomfortable. Some of the words that I use Maybe you may not understand it, but that's okay. The Google became my best friend at the start of my journey. There was words, there was terms, there was certain things that I had no idea what they were. But unfortunately, I was broken whenever I started my journey. I had so many signs and such an understanding that there was a lot more on this planet and there was a better way to live. But I was continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again. And I was expecting different results. But the results weren't changing. Why? I was trying to change the external. I was trying to work harder. I was trying to change everything in my environment around me. And the one thing that I didn't change was the internal structure of who I believed myself to be. Because change doesn't take years. It doesn't take decades. Okay? Change can happen in an instant. In that moment of decision making, in that moment of accepting an idea. So what I will ask you to do over the next 3 days is just have an open heart. An open heart without any judgment, an open heart with just saying, oh my goodness, this may be possible. This may be possible. Because every single time that you decide, what happens is repetition is locking into you. Repetition has created who we are now. How we walk, how we show up, how we speak. What, even as we're writing out, your handwriting was through repetition. So, for you now to lock in that repetition of who you're becoming, we first have to look at the foundation of all of creation, your belief. Your belief in who do you believe yourself to be. So if I would ask you to introduce yourself without your name, without your title, without your relationship status, not a mother, daughter, brother, sister, husband, wife, not a title of a CEO, not a title of your profession, not your name. And whenever we start this and we ask ourselves, right, who am I? Who am I truly? Who do I believe myself to be? This is a very self-reflection, okay? And it can become very vulnerable. It can become a lot of this journey, there was a lot of tears added for me. There was a lot of, oh my goodness, aha moments along the way and going, that's what that means. And this is what my passion is now, that I work with people and individuals that are waking up not to anything external, but to their own potential. And even for myself, we live on 3 planes. We're a spiritual being, having this physical experience in this body with an intellect. So your intellect is your mindset. Each and every one of you that's here, that's watching this, are understanding that you have a mindset. And developing that mindset so it's so strong that your emotions don't take over. Developing that mindset to believe that you can achieve whatever it is that you want. And it's not faking it till you make it. Those are words that I do not like. Or acting as if you are being the version that you want to be. And then you're building that internal structure. And as you're building that internal structure within you, all the evidence around you has to match that by universal law. So the truth is that you don't get what you want in life. You get what you believe yourself to be. Wanting is very weak thinking. We can sit and we can want. We can hope, we can wish, oh, it'd be great if I really want to win the lottery. I really want to have X amount. I really want to go on holidays. I really want. There's no power behind that. But the belief that you are is power. So wanting is saying maybe one day if I'm lucky, maybe one day if I work hard enough, if I put in all the hours in the graft, maybe, if circumstances line up, if it's meant for me, it could happen to me. That's all wanting. Belief says it's mine. It's already done. I may not see it yet, but I know it's unfolding. It's just a matter of it. It's a matter of when. The law of gestation, it must move into physical form. Why? Because I believe it to be true. So if you believe that you're limited, you will think limited thoughts. It's very, very key. If you believe that, well, if you have limited thoughts, then you're going to take limited actions. And then the limited actions that you take are just going to give you a certain amount of results based on your limitations. So your life, and it's a real non-judgmental view, and it may trigger some of you, and that's okay. That's what I want. I want to trigger you to start thinking differently. Because the way you're thinking at the moment, where you're at, this identity has brought you to here, and she is amazing. He is phenomenal. That version has got you to here. And the amount of results that you have, but it is not going to elevate you anymore. So it's time for an upgrade. Because you're thinking from that limited perspective. But if you believe that you're powerful, you believe that there is no limits for you, you're going to start to think powerful thoughts. And when you're thinking really powerful thoughts, and your body is going, yes, I can do this. I can do anything. What type of actions do you think that you're going to take then? You're going to start to take really bold actions. Bold is my word. I love bold. I have all my clients over this last year to take a word into 2025, and bold was my word. So whenever you're taking bold actions, what type of results do you think you're going to create? You're going to create real extraordinary results. This is why we must begin with the belief. Because your belief is the soil. It is, just imagine the beautiful soil out in your garden. And in that soil that you're planting your seeds, that's where the life grows. So if you have your belief, all non-productive habits, all the non-productive beliefs that you have about yourself, and you're pulling out all them weeds. So today I want to begin with believing something new today, okay? I want you just to believe something new today. I want you to believe that what you're doing right now, sitting here, whether it's live, whether it's on replay, this is magic. I want you to believe that the steps that you're taking are working. Every step that you're taking is working, even if you can't see the results yet. So I want you to believe that your dream life is unfolding before your eyes. We may want it a little bit quicker, we may want to push it, we may want to elevate it a wee bit more, but it is unfolding. Because whenever you believe this, what happens is that you show up differently. You carry yourself totally differently. You will stand taller, you will stand prouder, you will vibrate at a frequency that it is done. And life has no choice but to mirror the belief back at you. Life is a mirror. What we see in someone else is within us already. What we see in life, the evidence that we want in our life, what we are focusing on is showing up in that mirror. So I want you to remember that wanting is weak. We don't want, we don't hope, we don't push, it is belief that's power. Belief in yourself, belief in your capabilities is power. Stop waiting for someone else to do it for you. And again, a lot of us are that way inclined. So belief in yourself. So who you are creates your experiences. Let's go really deeper into this. Your identity. And you'll hear me talking in self-image. You will hear me talking in identity. Okay? Both very similar. Self-image would give you the understanding that it's a mirror reflection that you see of yourself. You're standing looking at yourself in the mirror and you're seeing the external of what you're wearing and how you're showing up and what's your hair like and what, again, that would give you the understanding that's what self-image is. But self-image goes so much deeper. It is the thermostat of your life. What you believe about yourself. And just like a thermostat, it would set the temperature in this, say the thermostat in this room, okay? Your identity sets the thermostat of your results. So where is your thermostat set? And this is only one of three. Remember we spoke about the mind, the body, and the soul. This is your mind. Where is that thermostat set? Because you will never consistently outperform your self-image that you have of yourself. You may want something more. You may have the desire for something more. You may have this amazing idea, this multi-million pound idea. And what happens? You think it, you talk about it, you feel into it, and then it hits here, right in your solar plexus, right in your chest. And your identity doesn't match that idea. That idea that you can have, be, achieve. So what happens is that idea goes back out into the ether again. Someone else is going to pick up that idea and they're going to run with it, and their identity matches that idea. In a few months' time, you will say, oh, I thought of that. That was my idea. What's the difference? Their identity matched it and yours didn't. So we build the identity of being that version. And this is where we bring in the goals. Your goals are great, okay? You may have goals, you may not have goals. But the purpose of a goal is not to get. And it took me a long time to understand that. You will get your goal, most definitely. But the purpose of a goal is to stretch and to grow into that next version. Because you will never consistently outperform your self-image. But you can actually change your self-image. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you'll find way to struggle. If you see yourself as someone who always, for me, I had so many previous lives, but one of my previous jobs was I was a hairdresser in my profession. And I always would have seen myself that I just had to get over the busy periods. I just had to get to maybe Christmas Eve. And it's okay, I can't get sick all through December because I was so busy. Just let me get to Christmas Eve. So I believed by the time I got to Christmas Eve, I switched off and I took sick. I don't want to get sick December, just leave it to Christmas Eve. And this was consistently, okay? So I believed myself that I was always someone who got sick on Christmas Eve. Many's the time I would have been sitting, lying on the sofa, hoping it would go away. And that went on for years until I shifted that belief. Because if you see yourself as someone that always just gets by, but never thrives, I've always just got enough, the reality is that you will continually recreate that and you will always just have enough. But if you begin to see yourself as powerful, okay? If you see yourself as really powerful, as confident, as abundant, as worthy, you're naturally going to live into that identity. So begin to see yourself the way that you want to. We don't see ourselves the way that we are now in this moment. I was always someone that was running late for everything. That's just who I was. I was always a night owl. I was never a morning person. Again, that was a belief that I wanted to change. So it's all coming onto your repetition. So every single decision that you've made, every action that you've taken, every result that you've experienced, right up until this point, has come from an identity that you have held of yourself. So if you want a new result, you need a new identity. It's as plain and simple as that. And it's so good news, because identity is not fixed. It's not something that you're born with. It's not something that you will continue to have. You can shift your identity. You can decide right now to take on a new identity. Yes, there's work that comes with it. You can stop saying, I'm someone who always struggles with money. Or start deciding to say, I'm abundant, I'm prosperous, money flows to me so easily. See the difference in energies? Because you're coming from that lower energy, that lower vibration that is attracting that to you. And you can stop saying, I'm someone who always gets hurt in a relationship. And then you can start declaring the likes of, I'm worthy of deep, fulfilling love. I attract healthy relationships into my life. Energy is completely different here. So the words I am, two very small words, but they're the most powerful words in the human language. Because whatever follows them becomes your reality. And we don't even realize the things that we're saying. I'm hungry, I'm tired, I'm sick. I'm excited, I'm enthused, I'm happy, I'm joyful. So ask yourself, who are you choosing to be now in this moment? Not tomorrow. We don't even have tomorrow, okay? We don't have yesterday. It's not someday, but right now. Who are you choosing to be? After those two words, I am. So your freedom comes from understanding who you are. Your empowerment will come from understanding who you are. And I can guarantee you, you have, well, if you're here, if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram, if you're on Facebook, wherever you're at, you're here because this has aligned with you. Whether it's a word manifestation, whether it's a word of mindset, whether it's a word of self-development, it has resonated with you because you want more. So most people think freedom is about having more money in the bank. That's exactly where I came from at the beginning. I thought of the more money that I had, the freer I would be, the more things that I could do, the more that I could show up. But it's not about having that, because money's a magnifier. If you have a program of lack, if you have a program of money's burning a hole in your pocket, that's one of the ones that was so ingrained in me, it will continue. So, and while those are really beautiful understandings and expressions of freedom to have that money, they're not the root of it, okay? Freedom is knowing that you are not a prisoner of your past, okay? Freedom is knowing that you don't have to keep living by the same rules over and over and over again. You don't have to live by the rules of society. You don't have to live by what someone else thinks that you should do. Freedom is the ability to choose your own thoughts. I guarantee you weren't aware that you could choose your own thoughts. Until I started my journey, I never realized that I could accept and reject thoughts that did not resonate with me, thoughts that did not serve me, thoughts that did not help me get to my next level. And the moment that you can choose your own thoughts, you can then set your own standards. And then when you set your own standards of what you're accepting and rejecting into your life, you don't have to say yes to everything. Then you can create your own reality. So empowerment is when you stop waiting for permission. When you stop trying to get validation from someone. When you stop really over expressing and over trying to think of the right word. The word's not coming to me now. But when you're not overcomplicating things, but you're continuing to, the word will come back to me. It has just went completely blank out of my mind. But how many times have you stopped yourself because you're waiting for someone else to tell you it's okay? You're waiting for the circumstances, or you then try to wait for the right time. I can't do this. I have to wait until this happens. I can't do that because I have to wait for something else to happen. The truth is, there is no right time in this journey. I waited for years, okay? I waited for years. I waited and I studied and I watched all the YouTube channels you could possibly get your hands on. I read all the books. I read everything. I looked for everything externally from me, guys, okay? Everything externally from me. But there was no right time. The right time is the moment that you decide. You don't need permission. Most definitely not. You don't need permission to shine. You don't need permission to succeed. You don't need permission to create the life of your dreams. The moment that you claim it, you are free. But if you're asking someone else their advice or on your goals, what's a disconnect there? So if I was to ask whether it would be my parents or my friends advice on my goals, they don't have the same goals as me. They don't have the same belief that I have in myself. So they're going to give me their understandings from their awareness and from the goals they want. So I claim it every single day. I want you even to look at somewhere that you've been waiting for permission. Somewhere that you've been waiting for permission and you've held back. Somewhere that you've taken someone else's, someone else's advice on a subject that you knew that you could achieve, but maybe that other person didn't think they could achieve it, so they're giving you the advice from where they're at. Waiting for permission I would have always waited for someone else to do it for me. I would have wanted it, wished for it, hoped for it, but I always wanted someone else to do it for me. And it came from procrastination because I didn't have the confidence in myself. That was all it was. When you break it down, I didn't have the confidence for myself. I would have continually, even when I was in hospitality, I would have continually got my managers or my supervisors to hold meetings for me and tell them what I wanted them to say because I didn't have the confidence in myself. And when they didn't express it the way I would have wanted it. So again, I would have got frustrated. So now I don't wait for that. I step out. I don't need the permission to be confident because I am confident now. I don't need permission to succeed because I'm succeeding every single day. I don't need permission to shine. I don't need validation from anyone else. I validate myself. So whenever we're taking the action, now we can say it continually, we can use it on repeat all the time. And we can use repetition by saying who we are, how confident we are, how much we are elevating in our success and what we believe ourselves to be. But there's a bridge, okay? There's a bridge between the invisible and the visible. You may say it, okay? You may say that you are confident, but you don't truly believe it and feel it inside. So there's a little bridge. So belief without action is just energy. It's just potential energy. Every version, every possibility in your life, anything that you can desire is already here. It's a potential energy. So believing that you are that, it would be like it's beautiful to visualize it, okay? It's beautiful to dream it. It's beautiful to affirm it. But at some point, the invisible must become visible. So that happens through action. So I'm just using the word confident because that was one of my biggest sticklers, okay? And it's really good to visualize being confident. It's really good to visualize stepping on the stage and speaking to people, to visualize it, to affirm it, to feel in your physical body that it's happening. But for the invisible belief in me to become visible and become my reality, I had to take action. I had to step on stage. I had to step out and be confident. Because it is only in the experience of the thing that it becomes your reality. And the more that you do it through repetition, not just say it, not just visualize it in your imagination, but you say it, you do it, you take the action in the physical reality, it becomes part of you. And confidence will only come by doing. By doing. You can say it 1,000,000 times to yourself. You can hope it, you can wish it, but it is only in the actual doing that it becomes. So it is so beautiful to do all those things. But remember, the results happen through action. But here's the secret. Action doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be dynamic. Okay? It doesn't have to be, oh my goodness, really dramatic. Action just needs to be aligned. It can be a phone call. A phone call can be the action that opens the door. So we build all this up inside ourselves and we create this huge, big story within ourselves. Your action could be a simple yes when your fear says no. And that action could change your life. Even writing the affirmation every day is action because it tells you your subconscious mind that this is who I am now. And then when your subconscious mind believes who you are, everything else, you start to act different, show up different, take movements different. And the beautiful thing is action creates momentum. And then momentum can work both ways for you, by the way, okay? Momentum can either work in the strong thinking or the weak thinking. But momentum carries energy. And then that energy creates a transformation. So it can either go upriver or downriver. Nothing moves until you move. But whenever you move, every single thing moves too. Every single thing moves too. So even such a small action can lead to really big breakthrough. It's like I was using my own intuition. We all have this amazing thing. It's your gut, your intuition, okay? And trust in it. And someone may just pop into my mind and I would reach out to them. And it happened numerous times. Or I get an idea and I look it up and I think, oh my goodness, right. Well, that wasn't meant to happen, or that was meant to happen. So even just the thought of going somewhere different for a coffee can lead to a huge transformation. Going out of your comfort zone of the normal cycle that you would always do, following your gut, it can lead, that's action. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It's just listening to yourself. But the thing is, what I want you to understand today is that today, now, this moment is enough. What you're doing today is working. Because if you believe it's not, it's not. If you believe that you have to do more, work more, show up more, you will have to do that. So what you're doing today is building momentum. On this call with me today, you're building momentum. What you're doing today, as I said before at the start of this call, is magic. Stop waiting for the perfect plan. Stop waiting for the day when you feel ready. Stop waiting until circumstances look just right for you. Guys, the magic is now. Every single step, every single choice matters. Every single effort adds up. Because whenever you begin to see your everyday steps as sacred, whether you have a morning routine, whether you have got your ritual every single day, I want you to see whatever you do in the morning, it's powerful. You stop living like it's happening to you. And the more that we write out a morning routine, whether it is your morning prayers or your goal or your gratitudes, the more that you step and do that, you're not living as if life is happening to you. You're living as if life is happening for you. It's happening through you. Your life, my life now, is a reflection of everything that I believe in myself. And whenever you have that awareness, you will protect your mind so much. You will not just let anybody take up your energy. You will not spend your energy just anywhere. Being around certain people, again, loving them, being in certain circumstances and certain environments, you will be so protective over what is getting part of you and your energy. Every single step counts. Every single choice matters. Every effort adds up. Why? Because whenever you begin to see your everyday steps as sacred, as powerful, as magical, You know that you're the one that's in control. You know you're the one that's got the hands on the steering wheel. It is up to you, and everything changes. So every single thing changes. And I'm not just telling you this by do this and this happens. I've done it. I've been there. I've walked the walk. And believe you me, when it happens, you can still sit back and go, oh, that's crazy. That's a coincidence. No way, it's serendipity. We have all these words for it. But the only thing that we don't look at is our internal power. Is it the capabilities each and every one of us has? And then we go back into the doldrums of doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So you're already shifting here today, okay? I want you to know that you are not the same person who pressed join this meeting at all. Your awareness has shifted. Whether you know it or not, your awareness has shifted already. You're already stepping into that new identity. You're already remembering the power that has always lived within you. Now, this is only day one. So I want you to carry this truth with you, that you're powerful beyond measure. You're free, you're empowered, and the actions that you take today are magic. Now, I can tell you this. I can tell you the steps. I can tell you the strategies. I can tell you the processes. But what I want you to do today, I want you to sit back and think about the identity that you have. Who do you believe yourself to be? Love her, embrace her. And this is what we're doing. We're really, or him, we are starting to use our reasoning faculty, your ability to think. Your ability to think, who am I? And then, whenever you journal on it, whenever you journal on it, who you believe yourself to be. And then we look at the identities we want to create. And it's not about becoming something else. She's already within you. Underlying all those different beliefs and behaviors, all those different layers. And this is what the homework, I always give you something to do. And this is the action steps that I want you to take today. Whenever you're saying something like, I am powerful beyond measure, I am God's highest form of creation, I am such a successful leader, where in your body does it feel uncomfortable? Because that'll show you where the energy is shifting. And it's really good if you feel uncomfortable. Why? Because it shows you that something's moving. So today, this is your starting point. And from here, everything is possible. So I want you to congratulate yourself. Thank yourself for actually showing up here today. Because what you're doing here is you're expanding. You're expanding your own worth, you're expanding your own capabilities, and you're expanding your own value within yourself. And by the end of these 3 days, you will see so much value in you. So thank you so much for joining me today. Write out your concept that you have of yourself today, and then we will be building that new identity. Just jot down a few things. Who would you like to be? What behaviors would you like to have? How would you like to feel about yourself? And then when we're building this identity, then we'll be looking at your goals, the processes that I have a tool belt for each one of my clients, okay, that you can bring it out. You can bring all the out of your tool belt, but it's not about strategies. It is not about processes. It is not about anything else like that. This is your journey, and it's just about you. It is just about you. So thank you for being here today, and I will see you tomorrow. Have the most beautiful rest of your day. Take care.